VoyMonk video voice vlog. And yes, I do have to refrain myself from saying the vlog numbers because I did it for such a long time that there's still some part of my synapses that want to fire and get me to say that, but I don't. So one of the things I kind of failed to mention last week when I did my Friday vlog, which I probably shouldn't have because it was certainly a longer extended version. But one of the things I just wanted to kind of mention was a tactic, and I think it kind of goes to what I think, not just vlogging or video content in this regard, but just in general. Something that's kind of a cookie cutter tactic, for want of a better way of describing it, is the self-deprecating humor. Now, having a background in radio broadcasting, I'm not unfamiliar with this because radio DJs, along with some of the puking that some people try to do, it's certainly one of those things that if you have an audience, sometimes one of the ways to endear yourself to an audience is to self-deprecate, meaning basically make fun of yourself, make jokes, lower yourself to whoever your audience is, thereby, what that means, elevating your audience and making them feel as though they're either an equal to you or that, you are there on their benefit to make them smile, make them laugh or whatever. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing overall. It works. The problem sometimes can be, again, like with anything else, there's certain methods and reasons for doing this, right? Sometimes it's done because, again, if you're an outsider and you're new to a radio station, or if you kind of know that you have a little bit more of a hostile audience in some regards, if your basic primary purpose is to light them up, it's one of those things that you can do, and hopefully it kind of endears yourself to the audience. It's also a way that, it's not too far from what people do in every day. Sometimes people will say things, "Oh, I'm stupid," or something like that, right? And many times, I'd say there are many times that it's a psychological thing where people do it, I believe, to fish for a compliment. If you say, "Woe is me," or "I'm stupid," or something like that, sometimes there's a halfway expectation that someone, maybe they'll say something that'll be complimentary, because you're not asking for a compliment, but you're inviting someone to say something nice about you. The problem is, of course, when it backfires and it does not work, well, then, or like when you use self-deprecating humor as it relates to like an audience and they're still hostile. That happens. You might have a bigger problem than the one that you want to contend with. And so therefore, sometimes it can take a little bit more work. Some audiences will absolutely respond to the self-deprecating humor, and some will absolutely not. I would say more often than not, it's usually pretty successful, depending on the way that you do it, provided that you're not so obvious that everyone knows exactly what you're kind of doing, even though it's not said or mentioned. It's kind of like when anyone tells any kind of a porcupine. Sometimes people don't necessarily challenge it, even though they know it's not particularly true. But yeah. I just wanted to kind of mention that because I thought it was something I thought about bringing up in terms of a tactic in Friday's vlog, video voice vlog, but I just didn't, so I wanted to bring it up now. And I just think that, again, when it comes to production, it is one of those things that you can do that ultimately, for me, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. I'm aware of it, and by making this vlog, I may be making you aware of it, so hey, when I say that I'm stupid, I might be just simply saying it because that's what I mean to be true, and that's really what I feel. But like I said, some people, it's there's a little bit more to it sometimes. But I'm just saying, ultimately, I just rather be genuine about the way that I feel, good or bad, or anything like that. And that's going to do it for this Monday's vlog. Until next time, take care.